There's this moment in The Bachelor that gets me every time I'm invested in a season. In the final episode, the Bachelor has typically narrowed down his decision to two women. One he will propose to. The other he will break up with. The Bachelor meets both women at the same place, one at a time. Each woman arrives in her own limo, and because the show always wants to end on a positive note, the woman that comes out of the first limo is the one that will get rejected. The show always frames that woman feet first, clinging to the reveal of whose heart is about to be broken for just a moment longer. And then I see who the runner-up is, and I am instantly as devastated as the show hoped I would be. I haven't been watching The Bachelor since the beginning. My first season was the Prince Farming Chris Soules season, but I've basically watched every season of The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, and Bachelor in Paradise since. The Bachelor is about one guy dating 25 to 30 women at one time, with the intent of eventually choosing one to propose to. Each week there is a rose ceremony where the Bachelor hands out a rose to the women he wants to continue dating. And each week there are one or more women he sends home.
Ladies, I'm sorry. If you did not receive a rose, take a moment, say your goodbyes.
It's definitely not a show for everyone. There are so many potential criticisms of the show, like how it depicts and treats women, how it directly or indirectly contributes to slut-shaming, how it has a lack of diversity, a lack of representation, how it creates an unnatural environment for relationships, how it sets unrealistic beauty standards, and how it makes drama and entertainment out of people's pain, just to name a few. But there's also this kind of inherent hope to it. Like, part of the foundation of the show's appeal is that it supports our belief that there is an unparalleled love out there waiting for each and every one of us. And I, like many others I'm sure, also believe that I can personally spot this love in the crowd of women. That I can tell which woman is the best for the Bachelor, and which relationship will be the most enduring. Which is exactly what the editing of The Bachelor wants me to believe.
You're so cute.
Babe.
You are.
You are cute.
No, you are.
Particularly in the narrative that the show constructs for the runner-up, the woman who makes it to that fateful final decision between two women before she is sent home. Here's a quick aside. Back in 2004, I was in university, living in a house with some roommates. And being Canadian, my roommates watched hockey. The house team was the Toronto Maple Leafs. In the 2003-2004 season, the Leafs were in the playoffs, which is a big deal. The Toronto Maple Leafs did not qualify for the playoffs again until the 2012-2013 season. And the Leafs had already made it past the quarterfinals, defeating the Ottawa Senators in 7 games. Leafs mania was real, and the Leafs were going into Game 6 with the Philadelphia Flyers. The Leafs were already down 3-2. If they won Game 6, they still had a chance to defeat the Flyers in Game 7, but this was it. They had to win. The game went into overtime. 1 goal for either team, and the game would instantly be over. 7 minutes and 39 seconds later, a Philadelphia Flyer player by the name of Jeremy Roenick, a name forever remembered in Leafs Nation history, scored the winning goal. I think every Toronto Maple Leafs hockey fan can tell you where they were when Roenick scored that goal. My roommate, a hockey fan her whole life, came over to me, put her hand on my shoulder and said, "Well, you're not a true fan until you've had your heart broken. Welcome to the club." And I think in some ways, this is how the Bachelor runner-up edit is designed to work. There's no drama in clear choices. Even though sometimes it's hard to hide, you don't want the choice to be obvious from the get-go. Not when there's 30 women left, or 10, or 3, and especially not at 2. That's just not how TV works. It's far more interesting to have a narrative for each woman, a storyline that builds up the hope and promise for each relationship, reaching a zenith until it shatters. And the relationship narrative of the runner-up, by necessity, has to be just as believable as the narrative of the winner.
I've known I'm in love with you for a while as well.
We have to believe that both women could end up with the Bachelor. Part of this is only natural. A Bachelor shouldn't let a woman get into the final 2 if he doesn't think he can see a future with her. But the way the show supports this narrative might be a little more unnatural. The first thing to notice is the order in which the women come out of the limos. At the start of each season, all the women come up in limos, exiting one by one to meet the Bachelor for the first time. In Bachelor Sean Lowe's book, For the Right Reasons, he says the producer told him when he was on The Bachelorette, "Traditionally, we try to pick two guys we think have the best shot of ending up with our girl to be the first and last out of the limo." On season 19 with Chris Soules, Britt, the woman who Chris was seemingly infatuated with for the majority of the show, came out of the limo first. The woman he proposed to, Whitney, came out second. And Jade, a woman who was in the final four, came out last. On season 20 with Ben Higgins, Lauren B., the woman he ended up proposing to, came out first. And Kayla, who ended up in the final three, came out second. There's sometimes a swell or change in music when the runner-up comes out. Like when Hannah G., runner-up on Colton's season, exited the limo.
Hi, how are you?
Which is a trend that sometimes continues into their first conversation.
You didn't look nervous, though. You killed it. You really did.
Really? Wait, you had so many people. I was like, I'm not going to even be able to,
No, but yours
yours
definitely, stood out.
The Bachelor seems to go out of his way to treat the runner-up differently. Like with runner-up Becca on Chris Soules' season. Becca was very reserved and shy. On her second one-on-one date with Chris, he tried to take her on a low-key date, just to the loft where he was staying. On Ben Higgins' season, he took runner-up JoJo and reassured her that he was not going to blindside her.
I can promise you that you will not be blindsided.
A promise he was unlikely to keep, but it was him going out of his way to make her feel more protected, more safe. And on Colton Underwood's season, he encouraged plenty of women to be more open with him, but he gave Hannah G a wide berth and let her open up on her own terms.
But I do know the way you make me feel.
Part of this, I'm sure, is just the Bachelor favoring the women he likes.
I don't want to talk about their relationship. I don't want to think about their relationship. Oh, what if he buys her shoes and a dress?
The fact that we see these instances specifically only adds to the runner-up's narrative.
She can't even walk.
There's also these catchphrases that occasionally get associated with runner-ups. They're the kind of phrases that do an excellent job of painting a picture of an ideal relationship. Ben Higgins repeatedly said that JoJo made him feel more like himself than any woman in his life.
I'm more myself around JoJo than any other woman in my life. JoJo has loved the qualities of me that are more me than anything else. And she also has this very calming demeanor about her that allows me to just be myself.
And Colton Underwood said that Hannah G felt like home.
You reminded me a lot of home.
There's just something about you that reminds me of home. She is somebody who reminded me of home.
You've always said that I feel like home to you.
You still remind me of home.
And aren't these phrases things that we would want for ourselves? It's almost as if production heard the phrase once and said, "Yeah, keep saying that, that's perfect." The other thing I also noticed in the runner-up edit is the way moms react to the women. Up until Peter Weber's season, at least.
Barb, how do we turn the page and give this a shot together?
Chris, he's going to have to fail to succeed. That's it.
You always have to look to see what the Bachelor's mom thinks of the women. Because moms know things. Like when runner-up Becca met Chris Soules' mom. While his mom's support for Becca wasn't obvious in the conversation, she just appeared to mother her, as though Becca was her own child. She brushed the side of Becca's hair and basically tried to teach Becca what love is. Or when Ben Higgins' mom met the final two women of that season. The way the edit shows their conversations, Lauren acknowledges that she sees that Ben is hard on himself, but when JoJo talks to Ben's mom, it appears to be the first thing JoJo says. Ben's mom reaction suggests, "Oh, that's good. She knows him." At least, that's what the edit made me believe. There's also often this final soundbite to solidify either the Bachelor's feelings, or ours, or the runner-up's. Since these soundbites typically come during interviews, they could be coaxed from the producers. Like when Chris Soules' dad says,
Becca's who Chris was.
What was the line of questioning that got him to say that? We don't know. It's the kind of line that makes Becca seem like the correct choice for Chris. Or when Colton is on his way to break up with Hannah G, and Hannah excitedly says in her interview,
I'm putting it all out there. So I'm like, I love you.
we're being shown this specifically to prep us, to make us feel more crushed when the breakup occurs. There's also this chemistry to the runner-up relationships? I'm sure the producers helped construct part of it, but there's another part that is our own personal perception. There was this moment on Ben Higgins' season where JoJo is once again doubting herself and their relationship. They're at Wrigley Field wearing these jerseys that say Mr. and Mrs. Higgins, which is adorable. And when JoJo expresses doubts again, I swear Ben says, "Come on, Mrs. Higgins." In my memory, he said it with such playfulness, such heart, such trust. But watching it again, I can see he just says it normally.
Come on, Mrs. Higgins.
When I saw this, it was obvious to me just how deeply invested I was in JoJo and their relationship. Whether helped by the edit or my own belief that their relationship was the strongest, or some amalgamation of the two. There's definitely an element that people bring into the show as well. It's why Bachelor brackets exist. Why my favorite moment from the season is when JoJo tells Ben that she loves him, and Ben tells JoJo that he loves her too. And why I will forever believe JoJo's surprise reaction is sincere. And it's this belief in sincerity and true love that keeps me a fool. In doing research for this video, I read all about the things producers do to influence the show, like making conversation suggestions.
Dang it. I really feel like you took my words. Yeah, I wish you would have let me go first.
Saying whatever they can in the limo to get contestants to cry.
100% believed that I was getting engaged at the end of this.
About how footage is manipulated to create villains for the season.
Marks everywhere.
Because people are watching.
And how producers manipulate factors or events to elicit drama from the contestants.
What the heck?
But there will always be some part of me that wants to believe in the runner-up edit that is presented. To get invested in their love story to the point that I make it my own.
That was like the moment that I'm like, something here. And I've seen that since day one.
And to reassure my belief that true love is possible.
Just a couple months, you've not only become my best friend.
Because deep down, I hope that the next time I watch the show and I see someone say, "She feels like home," I won't think, "Oh, that looks like the runner-up edit." But, "Oh, that's love."